Hi, Matt Chinian here. Welcome to my studio. I want to show you some recent work, and I've been doing watercolors, and here's one I did just a few days ago. They're peonies as they appear behind the bank down the street, and I really like the composition because it established these really very strong horizontal um, lines, and the patterns were really fascinating to me. The patterns of the bushes, the flowers, the chain link fence, and all that. And so that was an obvious um, way into a pattern. There's obvious patterns here, and I love patterns. And it got me thinking about how patterns are seen when they're not so obvious. And so I'd like to show you something from a little earlier, like earlier in the month, earlier last month, I think it was June, maybe it was May, I'm not sure. This was a painting, this painting right here. This was done at the Port of Albany on a Sunday when there was no traffic around, very little activity. So it was a Sunday, and it's a big oil tank or gas tank or whatever, huge. There's a whole bunch of these, and I love these things. I love these places. It's really hard to get in there because it just is. They don't like. It's not like a tourist area. At any rate, so I was thinking about how does this relate to the subject of patterns? Because I look at patterns everywhere, and I see things in patterns. I think we all do. And even though it's a monolithic item, a monolithic subject that just sits right in the middle of the canvas, there's a pattern going on with the horizontals forming a pattern and the verticals forming a certain kind of pattern. And the thing about pattern is it doesn't have to be, you don't have to repeat it on your work. It just implies that it repeats itself off the work, outside of the work. And that's how you bring a pattern in, and how a pattern becomes almost one of the same with design and composition. So it's a way of thinking about things that I can go in and out of directly creating a pattern or even not creating a pattern. They're always there. This is a painting I did in Greenwich a little bit after that. I called it Black Car, White Garage. It's on a back street, and it just struck me the pattern of and the values, the contrast in colors, or very little color, and I like that quite a bit. Here's a still life of a peony when it came out. I always feel obliged to paint those when they come out because they're so spectacular. And this too, it's a single object. It's like how is that a pattern? Where you're establishing patterns. It's still a little moist. You're establishing patterns with the horizontal lines and the vertical lines, and what's implied and what's not implied off the canvas. And that's kind of a fun way to look at it, because why not? What else? This is kind of fun. This was done a little bit earlier. I think it was done in March, April. No, May. It was done in May. Also watercolor gouache, which I've been enjoying. This is a vacant factory down the street, down 22. The pattern of the trees was really kind of fun because what I wanted to do is differentiate between the trees and the building, which is very, very flat. And then using the side of that building, because they're like ridges on that side, and it kind of created this linear pattern. So there's a lot going on, and yet it's a very simple painting. It's a very, very simple painting. And I like the luminosity of watercolor. I like the immediacy. They take about the same amount of time and the same amount of effort, obviously. So that's kind of fun. And what else? There's a whole bunch I've done since since I last did a video. So we'll do one more. How about this nocturne? This is Cumbies down the street, Cumberland Farms. It's a nocturne. A lot of light down there. It's you know, it got there dusk, kind of dusky. It was still, there was a little bit of color in the sky, and I let the paint just have its way on the ground, on the asphalt. And I love asphalt, and I love those lines in the asphalt because they're painted lines. It's a painted line, and they're depicting a painted line on a flat surface. So that's kind of a lot of fun. And by necessity, they're quick. Cars come and go very quickly at a Cumberland Farms at night. So, but it's a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Leave comments and any questions, right down below. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.